welcome to this week's episode of Tech Talk. I'm your host, Michael Amargon, and with us this week, of course, is our co-host, Vic Quell.
Hello.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to have Chris on for today's show. He had some real-life stuff that he had to attend to. But apparently you already have a fan in the group, in the live chat, saying to let us know in live. Okay.
I can't see the live chat. I need to refresh my page.
Why do you always seem to have a problem with this live chat?
I don't know. This is the second time in a row. Yeah, no, I still can't see it. Grr. I like to see the comments on it, so it'll be funny.
Well, yeah, actually some of our comments do be funny. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so we had, just jumping right into this, why not? This week we actually had some interesting stuff happen yet again. But I think the weirdest one of all was this whole Facebook thing. And yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit in our last episode. But yeah, Facebook's CEO Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg, went to actually have a meeting with Congress for 2 days, where they were supposed to grill him on, you know, things that are happening and so on and so forth. Now, honestly, it seemed like we got more memes out of than Congress got information. Legit, like, he swerved these guys so badly. He's like, hey, well, can we get this information here? Well, actually, my team, I'm gonna go check with them. They'll get back to you. It's like he didn't answer any actual questions. He just continuously came back and was like, oh, actually this, actually that, then the next. Vicky, what's your take on all this? Because I honestly just find it hilarious.
I found it funny as well. And the memes were to die for. Like, I went on Twitter and it was like Zuckerberg overload with memes. It was so funny. But like, I kind of expect them to like serve it, because I felt so like the meeting was just basically to like put up a front in regards to make it look like, you know, he truly care and they're gonna try to resolve the problem, and then like just gonna get like sweep under the rug later on.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. And yeah, there you go. Vitalis, for example, only found out about it just because of the memes. Like this. This has been an interesting, like, little thing that has been happening here.
It was. I think the water meme. The water meme was the one that got me.
Oh my god, there were so many different versions of this one meme. Humans drink water. It's normal. Gulp gulp. Humans drink water. It's normal. Entire like fridge full of water bottles, saying it's Zuckerberg's own. And there were other ones like the Zuckening, like, or the Zuck, or but pretty much with him behind the security guards and everything, or the police or whatever it was. Like, him inside the booster seat, for example. Like, honestly, I feel this entire thing has just become Zuckerberg memes and how he's an alien or a robot. Like, they were airing the entire thing over on Twitch. Twitch chat was going off. I mean, granted, they went off on Paul Ryan as well, calling him the Zodiac Killer, but that's nothing technically new. They went ham on Zuckerberg and him being a robot. But I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, there's a lot of things that are actually wrong with this entire thing, in my opinion. One of the things that I found interesting, though, was during the entire thing, someone actually decided to take a photo of his notes. And this is something that was interesting. No one else decided to take a photo of his notes or anything like that. But this is essentially, I think The Verge called it, what was it now? Oh boy. I know there was some reference to it. Anyway. But they were pretty much saying this is pretty much Trump's version, well, Zuckerberg's version of what the White House told Trump not to do, but he still ended up doing. Like these kind of summarized notes. And we have everything, and these are just some snippets here, that they underlined at the top under Cambridge Analytica. That's the company that stole all the data. That there's a point about how no credit card numbers or social security numbers were compromised. Like, so that's a special point. Then it's like a section titled Accountability, saying that the notes included a reiteration that he is to blame as the leader of Facebook and no one has been fired over the scandal. He said that a few times and saying, you know, he's not stepping down, he's not firing anyone over it, this, that, and the next. Also that, you know, there are talking points for him to skirt over any questions over whether he should resign, and, you know, obviously he's not planning to. There's a section that says that talks about Facebook's business model, which is the advertising stuff. Which is they want Facebook to be a service that everyone can use, has to be free, and we can only do that with ads. Key for me, Suck, is the mission helping people connect. Business model supports that mission. Let's be clear, Facebook doesn't sell data. You own your information. We give you controls. Honestly, I find that complete bullcrap because they are selling this information to advertisers. Obviously, the advertisers can get it. Am I wrong?
No. I don't know why people feel so like they have 100% security on the internet. You should, but like not all places are going to give you 100% security. There's always going to be like a space. So there's going to be like a kind of like an air pocket in a sense, where it's not, something is going to escape.
Pretty much. They're saying people know Facebook needs ads. Tell us if they have to see ads and they want them to be relevant. Now, there's a lot of other talking points from data safety. Like, here's the thing. He uses Facebook every day. So does my family invest in a lot of security. Meanwhile, at the exact same hearing, he then told them that his own information had been stolen. What? What?
How to like, you know...
What?
You have to humanize it, put yourself in their place to sell it.
Oh my gosh. Like, obviously, because the next talking point is that they made mistakes and that they're working hard to fix them. And that they're giving more people controls, and that they started showing people their app controls. And I mean, Lord, this... Okay, before I get into the rest, of course we talked about the business model, the well-being, defending Facebook. Says that if attacked, this is quite literally there, if attacked respectfully, I reject that. That's not who we are. How is that as a comeback? How? Nope, you're wrong. I reject that. That's not how the this is not Phoenix Wright. Rejection! No, this is not how that works. No, objection. But no. Apparently there were even points because of course Tim Cook like got on Facebook as well.
Hey, look at my boy come there to back him up.
No, Tim Cook went out for blood. Like there's a section specifically talking about like Tim Cook and his comments and stuff like that. It was like, companies work hard to charge you more, and companies that work hard to charge you less. We had Facebook try to charge you less. In fact, we're free. On data, we're similar. You install an app on your iPhone, you give it access to some information, just like when you log in with Facebook. Lots of stories about apps misusing Apple data. Never seen Apple notify people. Important, you hold everyone to the same standard. That is quite literally part of the notes. Word for word.
Yes, to put in a good word for Apple.
Then, of course, they went into the...
Sell it in the time of need.
So gotta sell it. What they need to do is keep their head above water. Next was disturbing content, election integrity, especially because, you know, midterms are coming up for some of these places. There's diversity. Apparently, they've only got 3% African Americans, 5% Hispanics working on Facebook. So they say they've got a long way to go. They talked about competition. There was a special part inside there that says that the GDPR, which is essentially the European Union version of what's the correct word? Regulations on Facebook. That they said, do not tell them we do this already. Because they don't want the US to enforce the same kind of restrictions that the European Union has done. Their whole thing was, we already, people deserve good privacy tools and controls where they live. We build everything to be transparent and give people control. GDPR does a few things, which provides control over data use, which we've done for years, requires consent, done a little bit, now doing more in Europe and around the world, got special consent for sensitive things like facial recognition, and support privacy legislation that is practical and puts people in control and allows innovation. That last part I found really interesting, considering that just today on the news, Facebook quite literally then said they would be willing for regulation so long as it was good regulation. What? Who says what's good regulation for you?
Them.
Oh my gosh. This is... I'm sorry.
Russia had 2018 and 100 prices.
Really? But yeah, to me personally, this whole like Congress meeting thing, they asked him soft questions, and then they like the hardest question that they asked him was like, so that other app that you made back when you were in college before you started Facebook, is that still alive? Because, you know, that's great for users' data as well over at Harvard. He's like, no, that was a prank, and that was a parody site. It didn't, and so on and so forth. Has no relation to Facebook. Kind of dies in the water there. Then they're like, oh, well, what about shadow profiles? And this was actually an interesting one. This is the hardest question that they asked, and this should tell you just how hard they were, which wasn't much. They said, oh, well, pretty much, do you scrape users' information when they visit your websites or sites that use your information, even though if they don't have Facebook pages? And he's like, yeah, we do. So then the guy's like, okay, well, do you guys have shadow profiles based on these people and their information, along with what sites they go on and so on and so forth, so that you can advertise to them better? His reply was, I have no idea about that. And he's like, so you don't know anything about social profiles? I'm going to call them shadow profiles going forward. And this is what they mean. So you're saying that you don't know anything about this? I don't know anything about that.
I was like, oh man, like when you get interrogated from the police, and like you got caught with like weed on you or something, but well, I don't know about it, and like you get denying it.
That's not mine, officer. That weed is not mine. I have no idea how it was in my underwear. I'm sorry, I don't know. My breath? No, nah. That was just I was chewing on some herbs earlier. You know, like just like some cooking herbs, and my eyes? No, man, I was rubbing my eyes.
Yeah, but exactly how it is. It's like, you know what? Like no matter what, you deny everything, act like you don't know. If they need questions, refer them to XYZ.
They got played. Like, oh my god, like what was the point of this? Like oh my god. Why?
I have no clue. I just knew that it was everywhere, and I think they got anything resolved.
I don't think so either. And then I read somewhere like I think he made like afterwards he made like 3 billion by the time it was done. Like he's $3 billion richer. Like what the wasting taxpayer money while he gets richer. But what I found interesting was that right before this whole thing went down, they were actually looking to get more information. Like they wanted to partner up with hospitals to research and get patient data so that they can, I guess, build out Facebook Health or something like that. I'm not sure. Like a bunch of companies are going into health now, but I don't see where Facebook really comes into play and why they should be asking anyone for their patient information. Like what? How what?
Because everybody throws everything on Facebook.
I don't need to know that you got an STI or an STD. Or like how
it may help, like when you go pick up people from websites, it would show that they're positive or negative, and at the same time, that would also give like it would be bad and good in a sense.
So you mean like what Grindr was doing then?
Oh, I'm not sure.
For those who don't know, Grindr is the app for gays and lesbians and stuff like that, and they were pretty much selling the information to say that, hey, this person, they've got AIDS.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well then.
So, that, yeah. Honestly though, Facebook shouldn't be touching this stuff in my opinion. Like, not at all. So, I'm glad they didn't go through with it, but I'm worried because the word paused is actually used inside these news articles that they were talking about it. So, will it start back up? I don't know.
I know next time on Pokemon. Oh, sorry, there's Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, so it's fine. Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Next time on no, that's just not gonna work. Let me not even try. Then of course, before this as well, Mark Zuckerberg and the top executives, even though the original story was just Mark, started deleting messages to previous employees, citing that it was security risk. They quite literally had created an unsend feature and used it. Something that they didn't allow for anyone else. Something that they said goes against their TOS is essentially. They then rolled this out for specified users. And then after the news broke out about it, hey, we're going to bring it out to everybody. So, were you just not going to do this? Like, roll it out if no one talked about it?
Yep, that's the way things are. If no one pays attention to it, then why pull attention to it yourself if you know you're not supposed to be doing it?
Why is Facebook acting so shady right now?
I'm not a Facebook user, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you're just on the place that houses a bunch of tourists, that's all.
At least we got jokes.
We have plenty of jokes right now. Plenty. But yeah, I mean, granted, yeah, they're doing stuff like they're blocking apps from getting user data after like 90 days of the person not using the app. They have a bug bounty out now for people who can find ways that data thieves can get in and get information. They stopped it, like I mentioned in the last episode, they stopped it so you can't just like put someone's contact information in your phone and find them like that. But I don't know. This is starting to hurt my head. You fine if we move on to Apple?
Yes, I'm always fine for Apple.
I figured.
That's not even a question.
So, I know a few episodes ago we were talking about something that we weren't sure was going to be coming back, and that was the iPhone Red series.
Product Red.
And not only that, we finally got a black screen.
Mm-hmm. This is the start of them listening to people?
Maybe, because we've been asking for, well, not we, but people have been asking for this for a long time. You probably have been asking for this for a long time. Wait, have you?
When they first originally did the product Red iPhone 7, I didn't like the white screen. It reminded me of the product Red iPod Touch, and I felt like the white screen on the product Red iPod Touch looked tacky. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing to my eye. I prefer the black one, but I always prefer a black screen because that's me, and I prefer space gray models over silver and gold. Yes, so I prefer black screens.
Honestly, though, I've always wanted it because it created a better shift in color. Instead of like red back, white, and a black screen. It's like, yeah. Really? That looks so tacky. Why don't you just make it black? Apparently, I finally have a fan. We're apparently sharing a fan now, Vicky.
Yay!
Finally have a fan. Team Vicky is still leading the pack, but we're sharing one fan now. It says Patel says he'd watch me if I was on TV as a TV show host.
It's cool beans.
But I mean, for starters, I'm glad that Project Red has been continued because there were rumors that it wasn't going to be.
I felt like Product Red is a really great cause. So like I would prefer them to keep it.
Yeah, like
make it out of they care.
Exactly.
Hard to say, but yeah.
No, I mean, but you're right, and a lot of people like that about Apple stuff because I mean, now that also falls for Beats and stuff like that. And let's admit it, a lot of people like Beats. So
I've never owned a pair of those,
Really?
No, it was always a thing. It was always a thing when I was growing up in high school, but I've never won a pair. I want the pill, the Beats pill, because they had the app for it on the App Store, and it would be cool, but I don't have a pill because I want a HomePod now.
You do realize that HomePods aren't selling well, like at all, right? Like they're what was the phrasing exactly? Let me see.
That's okay.
Yeah, they have low sales and low projected sales at that.
I could have like a limited edition because like if they discontinue them, it's going to be like it's like a limited edition Apple product.
Really, Vicky?
Yeah, it goes in my collection. Just being honest. I can throw it in my collection. So.
Can you feel my stare right now?
Yes, I can.
You have a problem.
I do, but it's okay. At least I didn't fell short and decided to purchase the product Red iPhone 8 when my Space Gray 8 is working quite fine.
There are people like that would probably sell their Space Gray to get an iPhone Red. Sell it for less and then pay extra just to get the Red version.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
just like what they did with the 10.
The Red version is gorgeous.
I will admit, it's nice. I've always liked the Red version of the iPhones.
Especially with that glass back. It don't look cheap like last year's. And the one that I hate about the iPhone 7 models, the antenna band. I think that the antenna band design is so stupid. but that's just my personal opinion. But I mean, clearly Apple felt that as well because they changed them like a year after. So it like usually when you see them like have one thing, do a change next year. I mean, the year afterwards, it's like they saw their fault and they decided to fix it. Like,
By the way, sorry, you were just about to say something.
oh, but I just want to say it's really gorgeous. The glass back makes it look prime compared to the matte finish that they had last year for it, because I like a matte pastel, actually no, it had like a matte chalky look. It wasn't like nice and silky and glossy like the ones on the 8 series because of the wireless charging. And then the ad for it was really good. I don't know, I personally enjoyed the ad, but that's also just me.
You always love their ads.
Yeah,
I will admit, Apple does make good ads.
It's so minimalistic but so effective.
Some of them are really stupid though, like that last one with the whole dancing thing. Like that didn't make any damn sense to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I actually like that one, but then again, I'm biased because FKA Twigs was in it, and the song was really nice because I like, I think it's Park Anderson. So yeah, I'm gonna be biased then.
You're biased generally, so I don't know what you're talking about then. But I will say, Vitalis, I have always loved Skull Candy over Beats, except Skull Candy. You can barely find them anymore, so that's always a problem for me. So it's plus they don't make over-ear earphones, and I love my Sony headphones, so it's kind of like
you're a headphones guy.
I do like headphones, yeah.
I prefer AirBuds. Well, earphones, since we're adding the phones. Yeah.
I mean, I like earbud. I mean, in-ear buds as well. And that's generally what I use. It's just like when I'm home or whatnot, I'll rock on the cans. And to answer the question that's in chat, essentially the difference between the 7 Plus and the 8 Plus was the 8 Plus is a little bit bigger. So it's got a little bit more weight. They say that it has the toughest glass compared to
quotes.
quotes. It always has the toughest glass ever. Of course, the bottom line was always that glass cracks. It retains all the features pretty much from the 7 Plus, including dust and water resistance up to 3.5 meters, I think it is. So that's like
I think it's actually 66 or 67, one of them.
Sorry, it's 1 meter, which is 3.5 feet. That for 30 in water for 30 minutes, but it's I don't think it's 68. I think it's 67.
Yeah, I know it's either 66 or 67, one of them. But I don't recommend that you guys take your phones with y'all in the pool or in the beach and swimming around with it like it's water resistant or like it's waterproof. It's not waterproof. It's only water resistant.
And salt will definitely corrode the crap out of that thing.
Yes. Oh.
iPhone 8 Plus has a 25% louder external stereo speakers. Of course, slightly better cameras. USB-C charging, not
so even fast charging. We have
wireless charging
charging as well. Yeah, which also makes the phone heavier because of the glass.
Yeah.
Is it worth buying? Which phone model do you have? Yeah. If you have a 7 Plus, then I wouldn't recommend it.
No. Because you're just going up, even like performance wise, it's just you're going up from quad to which is 4 cores to 6 cores, and you're getting the exact same amount of RAM.
Success? Yeah. But then it also leaves the question as it's about almost halfway into the year cycle, and would you prefer to have the phone that they're going to release in September?
Exactly. So I mean, you can always go for something like the 10, which is almost future proof because the next one's going to be very similar to it, or not, and just wait for the next one. That would probably be my thing. Either get like a 8 Plus if you have like a 6S or something like that, a 10, or just wait, or go Android. you know,
Yeah, that too.
just saying.
I'd recommend Google Pixel 2 XL.
But we found out some new information recently. Apple has been back up to its thing about screen replacements and going through third parties. Originally, it was like, oh, well, you take out the home button and you've got to start having issues. If you put in a new home button, so on and so forth. Because the screen was supposed to register with the exact same home button that it came with, and if it didn't, then it's going to brick your phone. And that you only really have that happen with Apple genuine products. At least that's what they originally were trying to get people to say. But now you just changed the screen out, like, period, even with the home button, and you're probably going to get, well, if you go to a third party, it's going to brick your 8, your 8 Plus, or your 10, period. And that's with 11.3, I think it was. The latest update from 11.3.
Yeah, it's 11.3. Yep. It's interesting. They're really buckling down on this third-party replacements in regards to screen. Like, they really want you to come back to their store. Because, like, I know, I can't remember which 11-point version it was. It was like 11 point something. And like, they had like a little disclaimer. It was like, oh, well, if you had gotten your screen replaced from a third-party store and you started having issues with the screen, then this, I think this update was supposed to fix it or help it for a sense, but they wouldn't recommend you getting your screen replaced from a third party. They want you to come back to their store and have it replaced. I think they realized that people live in the Bahamas and you're about to fly all the way to like Florida to go to Apple Store to get our screen replaced.
They're probably going to say, oh, well, you've got micronet there.
Touché. This is why I bought Apple Care Plus.
But, I mean, it's also kind of funny because the FCC in the States quite literally has just recently came out and they apparently have told 6 companies between automotives, cell phone makers, and one other company, I forget exactly what type, that if you have anything that says you pretty much go in and you tinker with this, or stickers or anything like that, that's illegal. You can't actually do that. That warranty still has to be valid. So, like, this is like a software version of Apple doing that. So I'd be very interested in knowing if they were one of the people that got served one of these letters from the FCC.
Interesting.
But I do know that they're also in hot water, and they lost, like, someone has been after them for almost like 8 years now, I think it was, trying to get them to pay up for certain things. And right now, the federal jury in East Texas found that Apple was guilty of quote-unquote infringing secure communication patents belonging to Vernex Holding Corp, which is apparently a quote-unquote notorious patent troll that has been battling Apple in court for nearly 8 years now. Apple has been found guilty of infringing 4 different patents in iMessage, FaceTime, and VPN solutions it offers on iPhones and iPads, and has been determined that 400 million Apple devices that infringe on these patents have been sold, which means that Apple has to pay to the tune of $502.6 million.
What?
That is over $500 million. For those who didn't know. If you didn't know, I'm kind of concerned for you. But yeah, apparently this company that is in this thing, they mainly exist to hoard patents that it has no intention of ever even using, and then finds companies to which you can license those technologies and reap money from. And of course, in situations like this, sue them to then make money from.
Just single.
Yeah. Now, of course, much like how what happened with Samsung, we can probably expect this to go to yet another court case hearing. And let me see, cases that are before the U.S. Court Appeals for Federal Patent. The Patent Trial and Appeal Board has already made a determination that the patents in question are invalid. So the patents are invalid, but they still have to pay. So what? This is the same kind of thing right there, that it's kind of like this is gonna have to go to a completely different court case right now.
I feel like Apple's staying caught. They're always doing something.
Either it's bringing ire to the customers or in court or something like that. But I mean, sometimes they do interesting stuff too. Like last week, we talked about Huawei's P20, I think it was, and it's 3 cameras. This week, what do we hear? Apple in 2019, their iPhones are probably gonna have 3 cameras.
Nope, devil is a liar. I thought the dual cameras were stupid. They were like Bender from Futurama, and I thought the vertical cameras on the 10 also looked stupid. It looked like the traffic light emoji. And if they do that, then it has to be this way, because the center housing is landscape for the top, so they have to have the camera portrait. But like, nah, like that means they're gonna have an elongated oval, and it's gonna look worse than it looks now.
It's gonna be a triangle.
Oh, I actually saw that. I saw that. I feel like I saw it on Twitter. Like someone did like a little mock-up, but it wasn't for the iPhone. It was for something else, and it had like a triangular shape. I'm so done with these camera games now. Like, I find with 2, why can't we just have 2 cameras and try to exceed the potential for that? Like, why we have to have 3? Why we have to have 4 cameras? I mean, like Google Pixel have like 1 camera and AI learning software, and it's quite fine. It does a better job than some of the phones that have 2 and 3 cameras. Well, 2 cameras out now.
And that's just with good hardware and good software. Something that Apple has been kind of known for touting. So it's like, really? But
And it's probably because they want to make that extra couple bucks by having dual cameras.
I don't know. Apparently, industry sources say that it's going to have a trio of 12 megapixel rear cameras, and that the third lens could help achieve this rumored iPhone 5X zoom, well, 5 times zoom. So they really want that zoom in, especially since, you know, other companies are doing the they're doing the whole wide angle for one camera, telephoto for the next.
They need to fix the megapixels in the secondary camera. The telephoto lens, they need to fix that, because it shouldn't be the same as the primary, well, their eyesight. That's what they call it. They call it the eyesight camera. Anyway, it shouldn't be the same megapixel as the eyesight camera, and that's another issue I have with dual lens. Like, if you're gonna have the telephoto lens there, please bump up the megapixels, because when you go to zoom in, it's going to be just as distorted as if you're zooming in with the eyesight camera. Yep,
and that's because it's digital zoom. And I think that's part of what they're trying to deal with, because right now, the 10 and the 8 Plus have 2 times optical zoom. So once you pass that, then you go into the 10 times digital zoom, which looks absolutely freaking horrible. So I think they want to get to that 5 times zoom with the 3 cameras, though I'm pretty sure you could do better than having 3 friggin' cameras in the back just to do that.
I'll see it. I didn't expect them to have a notch and get rid of Touch ID. And lo and behold, we have a notch and they got rid of Touch ID.
Don't even get me started up on that, please.
So I'll wait to see what happens. By then.
Also, because Samsung is having some competition on LED stuff now, and other places are, doing the whole OLED thing. Apple is reportedly demanding better prices from Samsung for the next iPhone. As some of you may or may not know, Samsung is actually the sole provider for the iPhone X, which is the revolutionary notch in your backside phone. You have a comment, Vicky?
I didn't like the notch first going off, but after seeing it, it grows on me. Tuning with the dual cameras on the 7 Plus, I didn't like it, but after seeing it, it grew on me.
Every time I'm inside one of our stores, I shouldn't say our stores, but the store I work for, well, the company I work for, every time I'm inside one of the stores there, and I look at one of these devices, no, it's just not for me. Could be for somebody else. I'm not gonna knock it. I just don't like it. And this is someone who was originally Apple. Like, I was originally all for Apple stuff. I just don't like it. But yeah, apparently Samsung has lost some of its bargaining power because even though they reportedly plans to make like 200 million OLED panels this year, of which half of that is going to Apple. It's twice the number of panels that Samsung has supplied to Apple last year for its iPhone X. Now, of course, Samsung and Apple are now in negotiations over price and stuff, with, of course, Apple asking for lower prices. And because they're saying that the scale at which Apple buys OLED panels, they want a better price because apparently Samsung is already reeling from underutilizing their production capacity. Since, even though they make so many, they could technically be doing more. And when you're in a production company and you're not making the max out of your production line, you're actually losing revenue. So what Apple's saying is, because we're using you guys more, we want you to give us a further cut on this, because otherwise you guys would be losing even more money because you wouldn't be able to pay your workers and your electricity and all this other stuff to do this kind of stuff. So last month, the CEO of Samsung Display apparently met with Apple execs to negotiate prices, but failed to reach an agreement. And even though it was never officially announced, Apple apparently paid $110, and this is a little vague right now. It could be anywhere between $110, $120, $130 per OLED panel to Samsung.
Bro, that's a lot. You know how much iPhone X they sold and produced?
Yeah.
Cheers.
That's effectively 1/3 the cost of the iPhone X right there.
Yeah, guys, that's why you're spending $1,000 on a phone. Gotta pay for that LED production.
Pretty much. I mean, LED kind of blew up this past half a year.
I'm so over LED. I'm ready for micro LED now.
I mean, yeah, so am I. But the prices on that is going to be outrageous as well. So
that's why you let it sit for a while, and then the prices will drop.
Do you really want to wait a while for a new phone, though?
No, I used to change my phone every 2 years.
Until that micro LED hits, and you say,
when you change your phone, you gotta change your watch as well. Because they're clearly doing a thing where the watches come out every time a new iPhone come out. So, yeah.
Yeah. But, so here's the thing. What Apple is asking for is, instead of that between 110, 130, they want the price to be down to 100 per screen.
That's really not, they can't drop it to $30 or $10.
When you are looking at how much was it? 100,000 screens times 30. That's three. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's $3 million right there that you're losing out on.
But you might be losing out on $3 million then. But if they drop their price, and Apple's going to continue coming back to them to purchase more grants, so at the same run, you wouldn't really take like a major loss. We're still going to have this person there wanting to come for your service.
Pretty
Now,
much.
when other persons start being able to produce OLED at the speed and the amount that Samsung can produce, then they're going to be in hot water because Apple's just going to jump ship in there because they're probably going to negotiate the price and they're going to sell it to Apple for the price that they want it for, than for when Samsung didn't want to drop their price. And then that means their whole investment just gone. The whole person who invested in that screen is just gone.
Pretty much. And I mean, granted, yes, LG is having some problems now, but so did Samsung back in the day. So this is just them starting out. Next thing you know, next year or two, LG might be supplying the next iPhone stuff. So yeah, Samsung's got to keep an eye out for that. And yeah, they have to be wary. I don't know if they are, so we'll see what's gonna happen.
I don't think they are either. It's just like, it's whatever. It's a little small company compared to us.
But there's one more. We're gonna jump completely off topic now. There's a new web standard that's coming about for passwords, and this is the interesting thing. So for a while now, there have been things called USB keys, which you plug it into your computer and it unlocks your computer for you. It's essentially your password without you actually having a password. And you plug it in and it opens up whatever places actually accepted it. It was backed by Google. I believe it's called FIDO, F-I-D-O. And so that was the precursor to this. This new web standard is going to be for websites, it's going to be for computers, it's going to be for phones, the whole gambit. And essentially, instead of having to put in your password or like putting in like usernames and stuff like that, it's going to tie in with Touch ID, Face ID, your fingerprint scanners, and yes, there are some laptops that also have fingerprint scanners, so that works for them as well. If you have Windows 10 and you have the Hello feature, which has like particular web cameras that recognize your face and unlock when it knows that it's you. Cortana, if Cortana can do that as well with its webcam and like recognize your face and unlock your computer for you, can it do that?
I have no clue. I'm not a Windows person.
I do know that they have some feature built into the login screen for Windows, where if you plug in one of those specified web cameras, it can, or it comes built in into your computer or monitor or whatever it is like that, then it can unlock your computer based on your face. Otherwise, you can use a fingerprint scanner and get in like that. And of course, USB keys. You can use all of these different things to then log into websites and your computer and your email and pay for stuff and so on and so forth, because these are verified and secured enough systems that they don't have to really worry about anything. Like these have been tested for years now.
The way we're moving?
Eventually, that's the hope.
Now persons are going to finally have a reason to have a touch bar on their MacBook Pros.
Wait, I don't think the touch bar can read fingerprints.
Yeah, that's Touch ID in the corner.
Oh. Well, I guess then, yeah. That's one way about it. I know my laptop has a fingerprint scanner
that's nice
right there.
Oh,
Like right in the center there.
I see
So,
it. It's actually a really good place to put it.
yeah. So I just have to swipe my finger on it,
Oh,
and
wow.
it unlocks my laptop for me.
Sadly, I have to type in my password.
Yeah. Rip. But yeah, so all we may be having to do now is say, okay, well, this is the user account I want to log into. Here's my password. And I'm logged in. Passwords quite literally become the way how we get into our phones nowadays. I think that's awesome, like personally speaking.
Me too.
And I can't wait until it actually becomes a thing. Yes, it's going to take a while. It's probably going to take a few years before it's
That's going to
implemented.
become a thing.
It is.
And
It's just
people felt that same way with smartphones. Remember, you changed from having the traditional passcode or password to now having fingerprint scanners. We have phones with facial recognition, iris scanner. So it's like, it's going to become a thing.
Yep. I completely see it happening. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take before it does. And honestly, depending on how many big companies start to take it on, I think it will probably start to go much faster. So like, as an example, if WordPress, for example, decides, hey, well, we're going to build this in and we're going to get rid of passwords. So if you want to log in with your stuff, here's how you do it. It's probably going to face a lot of backlash, and they're probably going to need to spend like 5 months or so just letting people still log in regularly. But it will push people. If Amazon does it, definitely. Facebook doesn't need to do anything right now because they do that and they're probably going to get left behind in the dust. But Google definitely should be one of the people doing this because they are one of the pioneers of this technology. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting next few years.
Well, once I have the right companies, and they should be good.
I think so too. Well, I know Chris missed out on today's discussion, and I think it was actually one that he would have done well in. But today was an interesting discussion. It was.
That hot new red Apple iPhone topic.
I will stick with my skins. And of course, people can also get an iPhone Red lookalike by just getting a case. Like there's a way to get it like for like 10-15 bucks. You can quite literally, or you can get a skin for your phone as well and make it like look really legit.
That too.
So that is it. I think I'm not missing anything, am I?
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Okay. Yeah, that's it for this week's episode of Tech Talk. I've been your host, Michael Amargon, and your co-host.
Well, I don't know which one you say.
I say Viquel, but I mean, it's up to you.
Oh, yeah, whichever one. It's cool.
Thanks everyone who decided to watch, who decided to join in chat. Those of you who listen to us on podcasts, especially those of you in the US and Europe and stuff like that, feel free at any point to hop over into our Twitch channel. It's just twitch.tv/moarcookies, MOAR cookies, at Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for this show. And then if you want to catch any of the other streams, like, wow, when I'm gaming or doing reviews on different stuff, feel free to follow and subscribe for those kind of stuff as well. Of course, if you're on YouTube, well, click that subscribe button and I'll see you next week. Take care.